Notts County Talk, back with episode 10 of the Pavis Perspective. We're in double figures for the season, and no doubt this is the most pivotal Pavis Perspective we will be doing. It's the biggest week of the season so far, and without a doubt, George, I think you'd agree, this will be one of the defining weeks of the season.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Stockport, I'm going to say it early, they're not the team, well, they're not performing in a way that I'd have expected them to. They've not really lived up to the expectation. So I feel like it's probably the best time to play them. But nevertheless, it's going to be a tough game. There's no undermining them. Bromley as well. I was just looking at their run of form recently. They're scoring so freely. It's this season, essentially. Two fierce sides. So, yeah, tough week. But I'm hoping it's going to be one of them where we see the players step up to that level and look ready to be playing these opponents.
Definitely. Look, it's a big week for Notts. So on the channel, we've got loads of content coming on Saturday after the full-time whist against Stockport. Likewise, Medellin back again on Tuesday for Bromley, another incredibly difficult test that we'll talk about in a minute. We've got you covered all week for content. Obviously going to be some honest reviews after game. Hopefully they're all positive. And then we can hopefully pick up momentum to go away to Grimsby the following Saturday. So we always talk about the last game. George, Tamworth. I mean, fantastic. It was just a very, very enjoyable game to be at.
Yeah, I couldn't put it better, really. I said it in our review, didn't I? It was probably the game I've enjoyed the most this season by a long mile. Obviously, I wasn't at Barnet, but we just really controlled the game. We never looked, like we were being undone, or they never really, to be honest, looked like they got to grips with the game. I think that you got to give them credit to some respect, because for the first 20 minutes they were quite resilient defensively. Their following was fantastic, but focusing on Notts themselves, I thought brilliant performance. Really put right what was wrong on Saturday. Just that being clinical. We were having a lot more attempts and being a little bit braver, and it showed. And it's good to see, really, because I feel like it's not been it wasn't just the sort of Tamworth game on Saturday where we've seen that lack of players being brave and being daring. And I kind of don't want to get carried away with it too much, because no disrespect to them, but it was Tamworth. They are below us in the pyramid. But yeah,
genuinely, sorry, it does make a difference. Their players would have been at work that day. They've been playing. They've been playing Saturday. They played the Tuesday before. Undoubtedly, unless it was the vantage point we had at Tamworth, the pitch was tiny at Tamworth. It was not so stretching. It was very big at Medellin. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, that was it, really. I mean, I think the weather goes in our favour a lot as well, because the ball's whipping around, isn't it? It's whizzing. It suits our style of play, and I think Tamworth really struggled to sort of get to grips with it. But yeah, it gives us a good pedestal to move forward on. A good performance, a clean sheet, 4 goals. That's players that are happy. Wharton gets a goal as well. Ed Francis, he gets 2 assists, and that'll do world of good for his confidence. Not the most architectural assists in the world, but an assist is an assist at the end of the day. So I think that'll do him good. Cairo's off the mark. Vincent puts in an unbelievable display. All ticking all sorts of boxes for me, which is just amazing. And it's kind of what the FA Cup's about, isn't it, to some degree?
Yeah, it definitely is. Kieran, I can see you've got a question. We're going to answer your question. If anyone else has got one, put it in the chat. And we've also got one on Twitter from Max that we're going to answer in it. But yeah, I want to look back at that Tamworth game quickly before we move on. I think I sort of briefly spoke about it after Tuesday's game. I think the replay is the best thing that could have happened. It really is, because you've already spoken about the performance we saw from players like Vincent, Mitchell. But, it wouldn't have been the way we played Saturday. I'm sure Berkshire would have been fuming with it. But to also see that reaction to the game as well, because they could easily have gone back out and sulked. They could have. And he's put another strong side out, one that he thinks can get the job done. And they've performed for him, and they've done well. Now, if they'd have gone out again and struggled against Tamworth, I'd have been quite worried, to be perfectly honest. If we'd have scraped a 1-0 and had pop shots on our goal I'd have been worried. But something I picked up in the last 2 games, and you're going to pick this up from the fans forum about a month ago. Someone asked Bertrand, didn't he? Doyle and Cameron, why do we never take shots from distance? Whether it's just because it's Tamworth, the last 2 games we've taken plenty of shots from distance. And look what happens when we take shots from distance. Because it's not even against a poor goalkeeper. Their goalkeeper is outstanding. Genuinely, their goalkeeper, based on those 2 performances, wouldn't look out of place in this side in the National League. I went down to a friend and joked if we can sign their keeper, because some of the saves he made, was it from Vincent's shot, George, early in the first half?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Stunning. So, mix it up. We've got players that can shoot from distance. I mean, the 2 players that scored, I wouldn't have even expected to be distant shooters, like maybe I would with Cal and Ruben. So to have that in the locker as well, and to have players that are confident shooting from range, I think is a massive bonus that's come from that game, definitely. Right, I've got some questions then. We'll go with Max on Twitter first. I can't put that up on the screen, it's come on Twitter, but he says, and because I think it's because I spoke about it on Saturday, that we need another striker. I still think we do, unless Mitchell can continue this. He asked, would we rather have Michael Cheek or Scott Quigley? But I'm going to open that up to the whole league, that question to the whole league. Who would you have from the National League to be in the side?
Oh, I don't know, man. That's difficult, that, isn't it? Really difficult.
I know who I'd be going for.
Do you know what I'd say? Yeah, I don't want to sound like I just purely like poaching Torquay players. I quite like Danny Wright,
Do you? You didn't like him when he came to Medley?
Yeah, but for the reasons that he's a good player and he causes problems. I mean, he just causes problems, doesn't he? And he always looks like he's got an eye for goal. So I quite like the look of Danny Wright, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do get that. He's a battering ram, isn't he? He is a battering ram. I would go for, and not just because his name is mentioned, I go for Michael Cheek.
Yeah.
What he's doing in the Bromley side, let's be honest, Bromley are a good side, but they're not one of the top sides. I could easily say Tashimanga from Chesterfield, but he's got players around him that they've spent like 5, 10, 15 million on them in Chesterfield. And but like Michael Cheek has consistently done it. I'm just looking at his stats now, 23 goals last season in 44 games for a side that weren't right at the top. It's very good. This season he's on 8 and 9. He failed to score against Torquay last time out, but he scored in something like 6 of the 7 before that, doubles in some of the games. He's a very, very good striker. And if I could pick someone to add to this Notts side from this division, it would probably be Cheek. I think he's the second top scorer in the division as well. Behind Tashimanga, he's level with Campbell from Woking, obviously netted twice against us. But yeah, that's what I'd have. So that's a good question, Max. Thank you. I got Halifax channel with us today. Thoughts on Halifax this season? Did a job on us.
No comment.
Probably one of the greatest things you'll see as a Halifax fan in years. No, being serious, if that happens to Notts, I'd say the same. Like, regardless of going up or down, that's like a once in a lifetime thing to be down to 10 men with 10 minutes to go. So yeah, I think Halifax are decent, and they battered us all game, to be fair. They did. Next question, George, from Kieran. How different of a performance does Frank Vincent add to our midfield, and do you think he'll be a regular starter? This is an interesting one. I'll let you kick off on that one.
Yeah, it's difficult. I spoke to a few people about it, sort of Vincent's performance. For me, I feel like he's going to be high on confidence. He looks confident. He's got character. He's got really good ability. He's tricky. He can pull the trigger and be accurate with it. He kind of has everything you sort of want, doesn't he? I feel like he adds a little bit more spice to the midfield, doesn't he? Like, for sure. Now, I was talking to Richard about this from Notts County Stats, and he sort of said it, and I agreed with what he was saying. So he said he wouldn't mind seeing a 4-3-3 with Ed Francis, Palmer, and Vincent, and then obviously your front three can be whoever, Ruben, Cal, obviously Wharton, whoever you desire. But I do feel like a midfield like that could be good, because you kind of got Palmer that can pick a pass. He can also do a bit of defending. He's just a very good, agile, aware player. And you got Francis who can do a bit of sweeping up behind him. And then you've got Vincent that's just going to be causing problems, drifting wide, having shots, creating chances. I feel like there'd be a lot of problems caused to the opposition if that was your midfield.
It's quite a complete midfield.
Yeah.
It is kind of a complete midfield. Like the experience level you've got in that midfield, not necessarily from games played, obviously from Vincent and Francis, but from the level they've played at, and the teams they've come from, would be a very interesting midfield. And I wouldn't be shocked to see it, to be honest, on a Saturday. A, because Cal might not be fit. And B, because actually going and playing a team like Stockport and having two central midfielders in there could be risky, I think. I mean, It worked okay against Wrexham. I think it was Palmer and Francis in that situation. Or did Jim might have played in that one? I can't quite remember.
Jim,
yeah, but we love Jim for his energy, but Vincent adds so much more. So to answer your question, Kieran, I think he'll be a regular starter based on one performance against Tamworth, but based on a performance that he's had absolutely no previous game time or been up to the pace of a match. To start from minute one like he did.
Sharpest player on the pitch.
He was definitely the sharpest player on the pitch. He was my man of the match. And Caro got 2, which fair enough. Caro was very, very good. He got man of the match for his 2 goals, I think. Vincent, for me, was, as I use the word to describe Mitchell, but those 2 were unplayable. Genuinely were. So I wouldn't be surprised, not even to see him integrated in, to see him put straight in. I think definitely. Yeah. And that would be interesting when we go into our team, because you've just put a thought in my head, George, of that 4-3-3. If Cal's not fit, could be very, very interesting. It could be, yeah. So I've sort of spoken about Tamworth. Answered a few questions. If you've got any more, put them in the chat. Let's look ahead to Saturday then. I was excited to even do this podcast. This is a game I've looked at on the calendar for a while, and this is a big game. We were on the Scarf Bagara War podcast last night talking about Notts. That's a Stockport fan podcast, and they said they're almost bringing 2,000 to Meadow Lane. That's what I want. I want to see that. I don't want to see, no disrespect, Maidenhead's 50 midweek, made no noise. I want to see a big away following. I want to see a big game. I want to see a big atmosphere.
Yeah, me too. It sort of feels like we've missed that a little bit this season, doesn't it, at Meadow Lane? We've not really had, don't get me wrong, we've had a few fan bases that have bought a decent following and been loud, but I feel like Stockport will come and be really loud. It'd be interesting to see how our players sort of fare in that sort of scenario, because that their players are going to be well up for winding us up as well.
I think it'll be a bit like when we played Torquay.
Yeah.
There's a bit of nastiness with Torquay for a different reason.
Yeah, I feel like Hartlepool as well. When Hartlepool came to the lane, they were very good away following. Similar
Wrexham,
sort of
Wrexham have been good.
Yeah, very good.
I think this was the team at the start of the season to beat. Like, we had to beat Stockport, and they're not performing, and they'll be in panic mode. Much like some of our fan base are in a little bit of panic mode. I'm not yet, but by the end of this week I might be, these 3 games. But I do feel like this is huge. Who scares you from Stockport's side, or does no one scare you? Do you not care? Because I know you honestly believe that Notts turn up for these games.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do believe that they turn up for these games. They obviously have threats, though, don't they? They've got obvious threats. Paddy Madden on his day, even Rooney on his day. Like you've seen it. You can score from anywhere. He's always up for the battle. He's one of those players.
Isn't he?
Yeah, but he's also one of those players that when it's going his way, he'll wind others up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So they do have threats, but I don't know if you saw Doyle's press conference today, and he was sort of talking about like the team and how it differs from last season and the season we got to the playoff final. He's talking about the average age of the squad being so low, and these players at a really good time in their career. But you look at some of the results they've had, and it's come down to naivety, hasn't it? So I feel like because we've got that young squad that are learning, if they are quick learners and they're adapting, I'm hoping as the season goes on, we see the squad getting better and players hitting form at the same time and things like that. Obviously, it's all in hindsight, but I just feel like these are the sort of games where a younger sort of squad put a good performance in, it would do so much for the squad. not just the starting 11, the entire squad, because they all want to do as well as each other. You know, Cairo talking about he wants to be scoring goals like Ruben and Kyle. It's good to see it because they all just want to be in each other's position, and that's the ideal scenario, in my opinion.
The second he got that goal, 20 odd minutes in, he changed, didn't he? You saw a change, massive change in him, and I'm hoping he can carry that through. I'm just looking at Stockport now. They played one game less than Notts. We're in 9th, they're in 10th. So we played 11 and scored 20. This is something I didn't realise until just now. We played 11 and scored 20. They played 10 and only scored 9 goals, which surprises me. You know, Paddy Madden up front is their top scorer with 3. You've then got Rooney with 3, and then I think you've got Crankshaw who's got 1. That's really surprised me. They've conceded 4 less than Notts. But, Notts had a couple of games where it's an absolute capitulation, and if Notts hadn't have had that wobble against Halifax and Woking, would have only conceded 8 goals. We obviously haven't, because we turned into absolute bottle jobs for 2 games running in the last. Well, we turned to bottle jobs for 35 minutes, didn't we? And I'm just looking now. If we had 6 more points, we'll be second place. So, yeah,
it's early days, though. It's early days. We've still got a long way to go. Like I say, I feel like we're in a good position. It's not like we're in the red zone or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be easy pickings this season. We knew that.
No, but I look at the top 7. Grimsby up there. I think they'll still be there come the end of the season. There or thereabouts. Boreham Wood. They've lost Tashamanga in their second. That's some going. I don't think they'll be there at the end. Happy to be proved. Well, I don't want to be proven wrong, so I want not to be there. Halifax. I think they'll finish lower half of the playoffs. I don't think they'll maintain up there. Chesterfield will. Bromley, I don't think will. Dagenham, I don't think will. And Altrincham, I don't think will. Then the only team above Notts then is Solihull, and I don't think they'll still be up there. So I think, like you say, it's all to play for. They'll be up there, but they won't be top 5 for that top spot. I still think top spots. I'm not going to say anything about Notts, but I still think Stockport will be there knocking about. Don't think Wrexham will either. I think they just don't seem to be clicking. But I know Mullins scored a fair few goals. We'll go on to our team in a minute. We'll briefly talk about the Bromley game on Tuesday. They're 5th and they've got a free scoring Michael Cheek. I'm going to be honest here. As teams in the league, they've gone under the radar for me this season. I haven't really noticed how well they've been doing. I know they've been getting results, but I haven't noticed how well they've been doing.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, they've only played 9 games. And they're a point above Notts. 2 games in hand, could easily pull away. They win their 2 games in hand. They're right on. They're on Grimsby's tails in second place. So Max has just put that out of the next 4 league games, you'll be happy with 8 out of 12 points. Let's take it to the next 3 league games. What results would you be happy with? Obviously, you want 3 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've dropped points recently where we know we shouldn't have. I feel like we've got to make ground upon those no matter the opponent, and that's my philosophy. I feel like it's going to be obvious for me to say out of the next few games I want 9 points, but I think 7. I think there's going to be a game, whatever game it may be, that is going to be difficult. There's no doubt about it. We're playing some really strong sides. Will we be injury free till then? Who knows? But you just got to take it as it comes, and we've really got to start getting points on the board now. No matter like I just said, no matter the opponents. So yeah, set 7 for me.
Who would be the best case scenario to get you draw against?
That's a good question.
Because for me, we can't be drawing with Grimsby. We've got to make points on Grimsby.
Yeah, I know I do agree with you, but I do feel like with the 2 big home games, you'd like to think not to be winning those with the fans behind them. Yeah. I think a point away at Grimsby is a good point, a very good point. And I hate saying that, good point, but especially when we want to be up there at the end of the season. But a point to Grimsby at their place in the form that they're in at the minute is a good point.
Well, Wrexham was a good point, and I don't mind saying that. And if I went to Stockport and got a draw, that would be a good point. So yeah, I don't think you're wrong in saying that at all. I think that's fine. Alfie has said he thinks we'll get 3 against Stockport, 3 against Bromley, and 1 against Grimsby.
Yeah.
I think to go unbeaten in those 3 with the up and down form we've had would be difficult.
Mm.
You know, we've capitulated against Woking.
Yeah.
What if Grimsby start putting pressure on us?
It's such a humbling
pressure.
It's such a humbling league, though, isn't it? Like, it's like the way we started the season this year. One of our best opening to a season since 2007 or something like that.
Mm.
So in your head, you're thinking, "Oh, this is a great start," and then all of a sudden, we go on a run of losing games, and then it feels like, you know, if we do really well in our next 3 fixtures, there's no promise that it's going to continue well after that. So I always feel like you're always you're never going to get carried away with yourself in this league, never.
No, and we've said it before. This is the hardest the league's ever been. And Dion said when we had him on the channel, he said this league is the one. It's once Dion believes once this Notts team get out of this league, and I like how he said once we get out of the league, not if. He said once we get out of the league, we'll be all right. But how did you come into this division when we got relegated? Genuinely, and everything was in turmoil. We had that transfer Thursday that we covered on the channel where we signed like 7 players. I'll be genuinely honest here, and I don't mind looking stupid. I thought Notts were going to win the league.
Do you know what, though? Like, you look at it, it will always be one of those things you never know. We could have. Like, we really could have. And I think a lot of people forget that. And where we led into like a false sense of security, because the first season we did do really well. You know, the season we had, people were saying, "Oh, we've got to write this season off." And I feel like if it had continued after, what was it, Eastleigh, when we beat them 4-0, easy pickings, and that was just after Barrow, wasn't it? We could have gone on to do some unbelievable things, really. We had Harrogate in the pipeline, didn't we, to play? So that would have been us gaining points on second. But I feel like it sort of led us into that false sense of security that we were going to wipe the league, because we then sort of feel hard done by that we didn't get to see out the season and didn't, you know, possibly finish at the top. And then we lose out in the final of the playoffs. So we sort of felt like, you know, we were so close to doing it after a season where we didn't really have a pre-season. We signed so many players, like you were saying, that transfer Thursday. So there was a lot of things going against us, and it seemed to go really well that season, didn't it?
Yeah.
So in the seasons where we've had a lot of time to prepare, it's not gone. Well, obviously, I'm not talking about this season so much. Maybe last season, it's not gone as well, has it? So I feel like we were sort of led down a path of, like I say, a sense of security sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we thought it was going to be easy. It kind of, first season, it was kind of not easy. There was a few humbling moments in there, but, you know, it felt like we was going to win the league, didn't it? And it's like, how we'll go again next season, we'll win the league, and it didn't happen.
There was games in that first season for me that like gave me that false sense of security. Like, I remember Choi at home. I think it's the only game you missed up until obviously the season was cancelled. And Choi were 1-0 up with like 40 minutes on the clock. And then the fans got on the players back, and all of a sudden we scored 5. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, poor. They're the poorest team I've ever played. I think we've ever played in this division. Surely at home we're dreadful. But honestly, I get carried away with things at the start of the season. So first season, I thought, oh, look at these players they're bringing in. Bringing in Ben Turner, who's had Premier League experience. Looking at the players that we had, and then I think to myself, Cal Roberts comes in and thinking, this guy's unbelievable. Like, he's the best thing I've ever seen in this division. And then what happened, and I always had in my head, yeah, we'll go up. We'll have gone up anyway. So next season, when we started that season afresh, the COVID season, that, you know, every game was behind closed doors pretty much, I thought to myself, oh, we almost did it last year. We'll do it this year. We've got Cal Roberts. Yeah. Then he gets injured. Start of this season, I'm thinking, Cal Roberts is back. Cal Roberts is back. I'm literally thinking, like, should I get his name tattooed on my back because he's going to lead us to the league title? And then all of a sudden, Chester are going to spend that much money. The Hollywood brothers take over Wrexham. Paddy Madden's gone to Stockport, and Cal Roberts hasn't performed so far how I thought he would. I think he will come good.
This season ends, you've got Cal Roberts tattooed on your back. I've got Dion Kelly Evans tattooed on mine.
Exactly. And we've not gone up. We finished 15.
Yeah, mid-table.
15. Nightmare. We'll go on to the team then, because I think 3 games in a week, 3 grueling games in a week. How do you pick this side? Does Bromley come back in after being rested? Kelly Evans has 2 assists. Kyra Mitchell's got 2 goals. Frank Vincent's played very well. Francis has 2 assists, like you said. For me, on Tuesday, Adam Chickson, fantastic. Rawlinson came back in. It's a minefield to try and pick this side. So we'll go for it. What formation are you going? And I'll say after.
I'm gonna say start the game 5-3-2.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you going for formation wise?
5-3-2.
Okay.
No. 4-3-3.
Okay.
No. 5-3-2. I've settled on that. 5-3-2.
Yeah.
Goal, Patson.
Yeah.
Like, he's like Messi with the ball at his feet. And I hope, I shouldn't have said that, should I? Last minute, Paddy Madden nicks it off him. Right. Patterson's quite good with the ball at his feet. Who are your 2 wing backs?
Kelly Evans and Joel Taylor.
Kelly Evans and Adam Chickson. For me, I thought Chickson was very good against Tamworth. I know it's Tamworth. I don't want to keep saying I know it's Tamworth, but I just think he's solid. I really do. He played against Yeovil, didn't he? And I thought he was very good. So I'm going to go Patterson in goal. My wing backs are Dion Kelly Evans. You need someone that's going to smash people in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm going Chickson. You're going Taylor. Who's your 3 centre backs?
So I'm not sure about Lacey's fitness. So I don't know if he's going to be back in the squad. So this is me assuming that he's not. I'm going for Brennan, right centre back. Left centre back, I'm going Chickson. I feel like that left centre back role fits him so well. And then obviously centre back Cameron.
I'm going right centre back Richard Brindley. Just great to have that pace to sweep up. I think it's
do you know what?
Needed.
Yeah, I might change.
No, you can't change. I wasn't allowed to change my formation.
Okay.
Thank you, Alfie. Really appreciate that.
Cheers,
going up this season. Come on, you Pies. Yeah, massively appreciate that, Alfie. I'm going right centre back Brindley, centre back Kyle Cameron, and then I'm going left centre back Brennan. It's got to be a back
Pretty
5 for
similar,
me. Of Kelly Evans, Brindley, Cameron, Brennan, and Chickson. That's solid for me. Absolutely solid. Right, we're both on as a 3 in midfield. Who are you going for?
So I've already said it. I think
you're going to regret this.
I'm going Francis Palmer Vincent.
Okay. I'm going as a sort of a 2. Sort of a 2, 1, and then 2 strikers. So I'm going for Palmer and Vincent, leaving Francis out because Francis gives me a heart attack every time I watch him play. He gave me a heart attack against Tamworth. I know he got 2 assists. One was a simple pass and the other was a simple pass. So I'm not on the not in the fan club yet. So I'm going. Francis would scare the life out of me against Stockport.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
see how he plays in the 3 though.
You know, football, it's such a weird game. Like you don't look up and down the country at every club. The holding mid is always the scapegoat.
Nah,
Doyle was our scapegoat.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
Ben Turner was the scapegoat.
Yeah, well, when he had his days, yeah, he was. But Doyle was our scapegoat when Doyle was holding mid.
No, I don't agree. No. So I'm going as a 2, Vincent and Palmer. Who else? So, and then my man in front of them is Ruben Rodriguez. So who's your 2 up front?
Cairo and Wharton.
You're not playing Ruben?
No, but obviously, I just feel like that is such a strong side to start and then switch it up.
So you're including Edward Francis over Ruben Rodriguez?
It's not over Ruben Rodriguez. They're different.
It is over Ruben Rodriguez.
All right.
I'm going. No, I can't agree with you on that. I'm going Wharton and Cairo up top. You can't leave Ruben out. The man got a standing ovation against Tamworth when he came off. He didn't even do anything really. He's that good.
Yeah,
So good.
maybe I've been playing off Woodward. Like Ruben or Kyra, I wouldn't really be displeased either way. I think both offer plenty.
Would you feel it's harsh to drop Caro?
No, not really. I don't really feel like it's harsh to drop anyone in the squad, to be honest with you. Like anyone.
Really? After he's gone 11 games without a goal and then he gets 2?
Yeah, I don't think it's harsh to drop anyone. If the manager thinks it would fit a certain player better, then that's what the manager thinks, and that's just something you've got to. It's not always about pleasing one person, is it? If the system fits a certain player better, then so be it. And I think you've got to have that understanding as a player. I feel like they sort of do.
Max has put a good point. We've literally forgotten the main. Who's been really good since breaking. He has been very, very good. I feel like he lacks a little bit of end product for me. And I think against Stockport, a side that have only scored 9, we'll go on to our score prediction in a second, and I think they've only conceded 10. We might only get a few chances, and they've got to be taken. They have got to be taken, and that's our Achilles heel. I think some games we could be flying. We could be 3 or 4 up on teams. Woking, for example. Is Woking the game where Roberts had a chance to put it in and he put it out like a throw-in because he slipped? It was,
yeah.
Things like that. It should have been 2-3-0 before they even got a sniff of goal, and all of a sudden we've been done by a player like Effion. Nemain for me off the bench. I like Nemain because we've not seen yet a close game where the opposition are forced to come onto us and try and get a goal and leaving gaps. We've not seen that yet, and we did actually see it once, and it was against Woking. Do you remember when the ball was loose and Nemain sprinted from in Knott's half, won the ball? That's how dangerous he could be. So yeah, Max for me he's definitely on the bench. Who's your 5 on the bench then? Thinking of that, I would go quickly. You need a keeper on there. So whether that's Keane or Slocum, I don't think Slocum's back. Keane, Rollo.
We're going to put a keeper on the bench for this game.
I think you've always got to have a keeper. I'm always including a keeper.
They're favourite against it though, don't they?
Yeah, but no, it could go wrong. Went wrong for Maidenhead against us last year. I would go Nemain, Rawlinson, Francis, Cow if he's fit enough to be on the bench. I don't think he'll start.
No, neither do I. I don't think it'd be worth risking him either. I think Cow's going to be on the bench regardless, just to put it on Stockport a little bit. I think we need Lacey on there as well. Jim O'Brien.
I'm forgetting him, yeah.
Yeah. Nemain. And then I'd say my favourite, Elijah Sam.
The fact he only got 10 minutes against Tamworth in a 4-0
battle. I feel sorry for him.
He's done, isn't he? I think.
I hope not. I really hope not.
The fact that Kyra's got a couple as well, I'm losing faith that he's going to be there. Right, get your score predictions in there. We'll put a few up on the screen. I can see Alfie's already put his. George, I will go first this week.
Go on,
I'm going to go, and this is going to surprise you. I'm going to go Notts County 3, Stockport County 0. And I firmly believe...
That's surprising.
I've been listening... Yeah, I can see your eyebrows raised. I've been listening for weeks. I've been listening to you saying Notts turn up against the bigger sides. And I don't think we're going to batter them. I literally don't think we're going to batter them. But I think we'll put a very strong performance in and we'll take our chances for once. Sorry, George, just let you see that. Just know what mistake you made.
My team's interchangeable. I've got about 14 players in the starting 11, so the players that are included in my starting 11 are on the bench.
I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going to go Cara Mitchell to score 1. I'm going to go Kyle Cameron from a corner. And then I'm also going to go for Kyle Wotton to get a goal after getting back amongst goals on Tuesday. 3-0 Notts. Good
game that'll be to go watch, won't it?
And then for Bromley, I'm going to go 1-0 Notts. Ruben Rodriguez.
Yeah. I'm not as optimistic about the Stockport game as Tom. I think we're going to go 1-0 down. Because what an away... I mean, not purely because of the away following, but just for Stockport to be bringing nearly 2,000 fans, that's pretty good. And it's going to give anyone a boost in it, especially for away fans.
Yeah.
So I am going to go for 2-1. I think we're going to go behind. But I think we'll end up winning the game, grinding that result out. creating chances, sort of like what we saw against Tamworth, but not as dominant. And then Bromley, I agree. I think 1-0. Sorry, I didn't go to my goal scorers today. I think Cameron's going to get one from a set piece, not necessarily a corner. And Wootton. And then Bromley, I reckon that Vincent will get one.
I'd love to see that. His goal was pretty good the other day. It was.
Very good, yeah.
Okay, Alfie says 3-1 win, Wootton, Vincent and Rodriguez penalty. Callum says 3-0, Chicks and hat-trick. Put your money on that one. And for Bromley, Alfie says 1-0 Lacey header. Yeah, he could well come back in for that. We'll have to see.
Chicks and hat-trick. Imagine.
That's evens. Nothing.
Oh, man. That's so funny.
Max 2-1 Stockport, 2-2 Bromley. And then Charlie says 2-0 win against Stockport, 1-0 win against Bromley. Look, if we come to Pavis perspective next week and Notts have 2 wins out of 2,
your collar's going to be firmly popped in it. If that's
it is. And if Chickson's got a hat trick, Colin, what prize are you going to give him, George? Because you found that quite amusing. You'll shine his shoes in the Pavis.
Yeah.
Next home game.
Yeah, I'll shine his shoes in the Pavis.
You can't say.
I tell you what as well. Me and Tom will do a Pavis perspective next Thursday about 7:30.
Okay, fair enough. I like the sound of that one. Obviously, it's a massive week. 3 huge games, 2 big ones at Meadow Lane. We've got the home advantage. We should have the crowd. We need to be loud because Stockport are obviously bringing a couple of thousand. We're going to have loads of content for you on Saturday, straight after full time, and again on Tuesday. Let's hope it's positive. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.